Imagine a supercomputer that never sleeps, a machine so complex that it consumes 20% of your body's energy, yet weighs only 3 pounds. It constructs your reality. It decides what you see, what you feel, and what you fear. It is your best friend and your most deceptive enemy. We like to believe we are in control. We believe our thoughts are our own. But what if I told you that the conscious you, the voice inside your head right now, is merely a passenger? Welcome to the labyrinth. Based on the insights from Mysteries of the Mind, today we are going to peel back the layers of human consciousness. We are going deep into the biological machinery that drives your hesitation, your habits, and your hidden potential. This isn't just about psychology, it is about survival. From the invisible scripts running in your subconscious to the chemical lies your brain tells you to keep you safe, we are going to deconstruct it all. If you have headphones, put them on. Close your eyes to the outside world. It's time to meet the stranger living inside your skull. Chapter 1: The Phantom Pilot. Have you ever driven home from work, pulled into your driveway, and realized you don't remember the drive at all? You navigated traffic, you stopped at red lights, you turned corners, all while thinking about dinner or an argument you had yesterday. Who was driving the car? This is the first mystery, the invisible force. Neuroscientists estimate that nearly 95% of our brain activity happens beyond our conscious awareness. You are not the pilot, you are just the navigator suggesting a route. The pilot is an ancient, invisible force wired for efficiency. In the darkest moments of human history, stories of survival in war or resilience against terminal illness, we often hear people say, "Something inside me just took over." That isn't magic. That is the brain's invisible reserve tank. We often stop when we feel tired, but the feeling of fatigue is often a lie. It is a safety governor installed by your brain to preserve energy. The truth is, when your mind says "I'm done," you are only usually at 40% of your actual capacity. This is known as the Navy SEALs' 40% rule. This invisible force is the voice that whispers hope when logic screams defeat. But be careful, it filters your reality. If you believe the world is hostile, this force will highlight every frown in a crowd. If you believe you are capable, it will highlight every opportunity. The question is not whether this force exists. The question is, are you programming it, or is it programming you? Chapter 2: The Archive of Shadows. Let's descend deeper. Below the surface of your daily thoughts lies a vast, dark ocean, the subconscious. Think of your mind as an iceberg. The tip, visible above the water, is your willpower and logic, but the massive structure beneath the waves, that is the subconscious archive. It records everything: the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, the humiliation of a third-grade classroom, the melody of a song you haven't heard in 20 years. It never judges, it only obeys. When you try to learn a new skill, say playing the piano, it is a struggle. Your conscious mind is fighting to coordinate your fingers. But with repetition, the task sinks into the ocean. It becomes submerged. It becomes instinct. But this archive has a dark side. It is stubborn. If you were bitten by a dog as a child, your subconscious filed a report that says dogs equal death. 30 years later, you might feel a spike of cortisol, stress, when you see a puppy before you even consciously register what it is. Your subconscious is trying to protect you using outdated software. Many of us are walking around with operating systems installed when we were 7 years old. We fear rejection, we fear success, or we sabotage relationships because a script running in the deep ocean tells us it's safer to be alone. To change your life, you cannot just think differently. You must dive into the water and rewrite the code. Chapter 3. The Vault. I have a bad memory. This is a lie. You do not have a bad memory. You have an untrained memory. The brain is not a shoebox that gets full. It is a muscle that grows denser the more it is used. The concept of neuroplasticity proves that we can physically alter our brains at any age. So, how do we unlock the vault? First, the power of attention. You forget where you put your keys not because your memory failed, but because you never encoded the moment in the first place. You were physically present, but mentally absent. Multitasking is the enemy of memory. To remember, you must first witness. Second, the spaced repetition protocol. The brain is designed to forget. It's a survival mechanism to clear out junk data. To tell your brain this is important, you must revisit information at specific intervals. Review it once after an hour, again after a day, again after a week. This moves data from the fragile short-term memory to the permanent hard drive. Third, the emotional hook. We remember what we feel. You might forget the trigonometry you learned in high school, but you remember exactly where you were when you had your first heartbreak. Why? Because the amygdala, the emotional center, stamped that memory as high priority. To improve your memory, visualize information. Make it weird, make it funny, make it emotional. Turn dry data into a vivid movie in your mind, and the vault will never lock you out. Chapter 4. Rewiring the circuitry. If the subconscious is the software, can we write a patch update? Can we debug our own minds? The answer is yes, but it requires a technique called conscious reprogramming. Your brain suffers from confirmation bias. If you believe you are a failure, your reticular activating system, the brain's filter, will literally scan the room for evidence that you are failing, ignoring all evidence of your success. To flip the switch, we must use the language the brain understands, visualization. The brain struggles to distinguish between a vivid imagination and reality. In studies, athletes who simply visualized lifting weights showed muscle activation similar to those who actually lifted them. You must visualize your goal, not just the result, but the process. Feel the texture of the steering wheel of the car you want. Smell the office of the job you desire. Feel the handshake. Combine this with affirmations, but be careful. Weak affirmations like "I am happy" often fail because your subconscious knows you are lying. Instead, use progressive language. I am becoming the type of person who finds joy. I am working towards strength. This is not magic, it is biology. You are forging new neural pathways, turning a dirt road into a superhighway. Chapter 5. The War for Attention. We live in the age of distraction. Your attention is the most valuable commodity on Earth, and billion-dollar corporations are fighting to steal it. A fragmented mind is a weak mind. When you switch from an email to a text to a video and back again, you are inducing a state of attention residue. Part of your processing power is left behind on the previous task. You become functionally dumber. To reclaim your mind, you must practice deep work.
This requires the monk mode approach, single tasking. It is painful at first. Your brain, addicted to the dopamine hits of notifications, will scream for stimulation. It will feel like withdrawal. The technique is mindfulness. Mindfulness is often misunderstood. It isn't just about sitting on a cushion. It is the act of metacognition, thinking about your thinking. When you are washing the dishes, just wash the dishes. Feel the water. Smell the soap. If your mind wanders to tomorrow's meeting, gently pull it back to the dish. This is a bicep curl for your brain. The more you do it, the stronger your attention muscle becomes. In a world of noise, the person who can focus for 4 hours straight.
Chapter 6. The Night Shift. Every night, you hallucinate for hours. We call this dreaming. For centuries, kings and scholars believed dreams were messages from the gods. Freud believed they were repressed desires. Modern science suggests they are something equally fascinating: emotional data processing. During REM sleep, your brain is frantic. It takes the emotional stress of the day and tries to file it away. It runs simulations. Have you ever dreamt you were naked in public, or that your teeth were falling out, or that you were running but couldn't move? These aren't random. They are the symbolic language of the subconscious. Teeth falling out often symbolizes a loss of power or anxiety about how others perceive you. Flying usually represents a desire for freedom, breaking the chains of a waking life problem. Being chased implies you are avoiding a confrontation in your real life. Your conscious mind speaks in words. Your subconscious speaks in pictures. To understand yourself, you must learn to interpret the pictures. Keep a dream journal. Write them down the second you wake up. You might find the solution to your biggest problem was given to you while you slept. Chapter 7. The Alchemy of Creativity. What makes a genius? Is it genetic, or is it a way of seeing the world? Creativity is not about creating something from nothing. It is about connecting two things that already exist in a new way. Steve Jobs didn't invent the phone, and he didn't invent the music player. He connected them. To unlock creativity, you must feed the machine. You must become a collector of experiences. Read books you disagree with. Listen to music from countries you've never visited. Walk down a different street. Use the shower effect. Why do we get our best ideas in the shower? Because we are relaxed. When the frontal cortex, the logical boss, relaxes, the rest of the brain starts throwing a party. It starts making weird connections. Give yourself permission to be bored. We are so afraid of boredom that we fill every second with scrolling. But boredom is the breeding ground of brilliance. Put the phone down. Look out the window. Let your mind wander off the leash. That is where the magic lives. Chapter 8. Taming the Beast. Fear is an imposter. Biologically, fear is designed to stop you from being eaten by a tiger. Your heart races to pump blood to your legs. Your vision tunnels to focus on the threat. Your digestion shuts down. But today, there are no tigers. There are only emails, public speaking, and bills. Yet your body reacts the same way. This chronic activation of the fight or flight response is what we call stress, and it is killing us. So, how do we hack the system? First, the physiological sigh. This is a tool used by neuroscientists. Take 2 short inhales through the nose, followed by 1 long exhale through the mouth. This physically forces your diaphragm to relax and tells your nervous system the danger is over. Second, exposure therapy. The only way out of fear is through it.
If you avoid what scares you, the fear grows. If you face it, the fear shrinks. Do not try to be fearless. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting despite the fear. View stress not as a threat, but as energy. When your heart races before a big moment, tell yourself, I am not nervous, I am excited. My body is preparing for battle. Chapter 9. The Mindset Toolkit. We have explored the theory. Now let's look at the practice. Here is your daily toolkit for a sharper, stronger mind. 1. The morning gratitude scan. The brain is Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. Force it to stick to the good. Every morning, identify 3 simple things you are grateful for. This rewires your dopamine pathways. 2. The non-dominant hand. Brush your teeth or use your mouse with your weak hand. This frustration forces the brain to wake up and build new neural connections. 3. Visualization sprints. Take 60 seconds a day to close your eyes and visualize a task going perfectly. 4. The digital sunset. 1 hour before bed, no screens. Blue light destroys your melatonin. Give your brain the darkness it needs to repair itself. Conclusion. The awakening. The mind is a vast, uncharted territory. It can be a prison of past traumas or a palace of infinite potential. The difference lies in awareness. By understanding the mechanics of your subconscious, by respecting the power of focus, and by rewriting the scripts of fear, you take the controller back. You stop being the passenger. You become the pilot. This journey doesn't end here. It begins the moment you open your eyes. Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the mysteries of the mind. If this journey sparked a light in the dark corners of your thoughts, consider joining our community. Subscribe to Believe in Books for more deep dives into the knowledge that shapes our world. We are conducting a global experiment. In the comments below, tell us, what is one fear you are committed to overcoming this year? Let's build a library of courage down there. I'm wishing you clarity, strength, and a mind that works for you, not against you.
Chapter 9. The Chemical Puppeteers. You think you are making choices, but often you are just responding to a chemical cocktail being mixed inside your brain. To understand your behavior, you must understand the 4 primary chemicals that control your happiness and your drive. These are the puppeteers. First, dopamine, the molecule of more. Most people think dopamine is about pleasure. They are wrong. Dopamine is not about the reward. It is about the anticipation of the reward. It is the craving you feel before you eat the chocolate, not the feeling of eating it. In the modern world, we are drowning in cheap dopamine. Social media likes, breaking news alerts, video games. These things hijack your survival mechanism. They trick your brain into thinking you are achieving something when you are actually just sitting on a couch. To reclaim your focus, you must perform a dopamine detox. Boring is good. Boredom resets your receptors. Second, serotonin, the molecule of respect. This chemical flows when you feel significant or when you feel you have climbed the social hierarchy. When you are constantly scrolling and comparing your life to the highlight reels of others on Instagram, your serotonin drops. You feel small. The antidote? Create something. Finish a project. Help someone else. When you act with competence, your brain rewards you with confidence. Third, oxytocin, the trust chemical. This is released during physical touch and deep conversation. In a world of digital isolation, we are starved of oxytocin.
This is why loneliness feels like physical pain, because to your ancestors, being alone meant death. And finally, endorphins, the painkillers. These are released during physical struggle, a hard run, a cold shower. If you want to hack your mood, do not sit and think, move. Your body is the keyboard, and these chemicals are the code. Chapter 10. The Social Mirror. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone was whispering and suddenly you felt the need to whisper too? Have you ever seen someone yawn and felt an uncontrollable urge to yawn yourself? This is the work of mirror neurons. We like to think we are independent thinkers. I am my own person, we say. But neuroscience tells a different story. We are a socially contagious species. Your brain is constantly scanning the people around you and copying their emotional state. If you spend your day with anxious, cynical people, your mirror neurons will simulate their anxiety in your brain. You will literally catch their mood like a virus. This leads to a terrifying realization. You are not just the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You become them. If your circle talks about ideas, growth, and gratitude, your brain rewires itself to match that frequency. If your circle talks about other people, complaints, and victimhood, your brain will stagnate. Curate your environment ruthlessly. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Surround yourself with people who force you to level up. Your brain is a sponge. Be careful where you place it. Chapter 11. The Time Paradox. Where did the time go? Why does a summer last forever when you are 7 years old, but a whole year flies by in a blink when you are 30? This is the time paradox, and it happens because of how your brain processes novelty. When you were a child, everything is new. The world is high definition. Your brain is working hard to process all this new data. The first time you ride a bike, the first time you see the ocean. This intense processing slows down your perception of time. But as an adult, you enter autopilot mode. You drive the same route to work. You eat the same breakfast. You talk to the same people. Your brain stops recording the details because it has seen them before. It stops writing new memories. It just fast-forwards to the end of the day. This is why 10 years can vanish in a blur. If you want to slow down time, if you want to live a longer life, not in years but in experience, you must introduce novelty. Drive a different way home. Learn a language you don't need. Brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Travel to a place where you don't speak the language. When you force your brain to pay attention, time expands. Do not let your life become a blur of repetition. Wake up. Chapter 12. The Ego Trap. There is a voice in your head that is constantly narrating your life. It says things like, "They didn't like my post," or "I am not good enough," or "I am better than them." This is the ego, the default mode network. The ego has one job: to maintain your identity. It wants to be right. It wants to be safe, and it is terrified of change. The ego takes everything personally. If someone cuts you off in traffic, the ego says, "They disrespected me." The reality is, they were probably just late for work and didn't even see you. Most of our suffering comes from this personalized narrative. We tell ourselves stories about why we are victims. The most liberating thing you can do is to realize that you are not the voice. You are the one listening to the voice. Next time you feel offended or jealous or angry, take a step back. Observe the feeling. Say to yourself, "My ego is feeling threatened right now. That is interesting." By observing it, you detach from it. You stop being a slave to your reactions. This is the beginning of true freedom. Chapter 13. The Flow State. We have talked about the subconscious, the chemicals, and the ego, but there is a state of being where all of these disappear. Athletes call it the zone, musicians call it the pocket, psychologists call it flow. In a flow state, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-doubt and overthinking, temporarily shuts down. Time dilates. You feel one with the task. Hunger and fatigue vanish. This is the optimal state of human experience. It is where the impossible becomes possible. But how do you trigger it? You can't just wait for it. You must engineer it. Flow happens at the intersection of challenge and skill. If a task is too hard, you feel anxiety. If a task is too easy, you feel boredom. Flow lives in the middle, where you are stretched, just slightly beyond your current limits. To enter flow, you need 3 things. 1. Clear goals. You must know exactly what you are trying to do in this moment. 2. Immediate feedback. You must know if you are doing it right or wrong instantly. And 3. The elimination of distraction. Flow cannot exist with notifications. It requires total immersion. Chase this state. It is the highest form of happiness the brain can produce. Chapter 14. The Mindset Toolkit. We have explored the labyrinth. We have seen the shadows. Now let's arm you for the journey back to reality. Here is your daily toolkit for a sharper, stronger mind. 1. The Morning Gratitude Scan. The brain is Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. Force it to stick to the good. Every morning, before you check your phone, identify 3 simple things you are grateful for: the warmth of your bed, the coffee in your cup, the breath in your lungs. This rewires your dopamine pathways to scan for the good. 2. The non-dominant hand. Brush your teeth or use your mouse with your weak hand. This frustration forces the brain to wake up and build new neural connections. It keeps the brain young. 3. Visualization sprints. Take 60 seconds a day to close your eyes and visualize a task going perfectly. Feel the emotions of success before it happens. 4. The digital sunset. 1 hour before bed, no screens. Blue light destroys your melatonin. Give your brain the darkness it needs to repair itself. Your sleep is when your brain cleans out the toxins of the day. Protect it. 5. Silence. We live in a noisy world. Find 10 minutes a day to sit in absolute silence. No music, no podcasts, just you and your mind. It will be uncomfortable at first, but in that silence, you will find the answers you have been looking for. Conclusion. The awakening. The mind is a vast, uncharted territory. It can be a prison of past traumas or a palace of infinite potential. The difference lies in awareness. Most people live their entire lives in the passenger seat. They let their past dictate their future. They let their fears make their decisions. They sleepwalk through their days, guided by invisible scripts and chemical impulses. But not you, not anymore. By understanding the mechanics of your subconscious, by respecting the power of focus, and by rewriting the scripts of fear, you have taken the controller back. You have learned that your memory is a vault you can unlock. You have learned that your focus is a weapon. You have learned that your reality is a construction, and you are the architect. This journey doesn't end when this audio stops. It begins the moment you open your eyes. Look around you. Question your thoughts. Challenge your limits. You are not just a collection of neurons and electricity. You are the observer of the universe experiencing itself. Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the mysteries of the mind. If this journey sparked a light in the dark corners of your thoughts, consider joining our community.
Subscribe to Believe in Books for more deep dives into the knowledge that shapes our world. We are conducting a global experiment. In the comments below, tell us, which invisible script are you going to rewrite today? Let's build a library of courage down there. I'm wishing you clarity, strength, and a mind that works for you, not against you. Until next time.